And the way that I engage with clients and customers, it's like, I'm not selling you a product. I'm trying to help you shine. So tell me, if we get this right, do you get a promotion? What's in this for you? Because we could talk numbers all day. We'll get the contract right. I have a whole team behind me. But you, marketing director, CMO, CTO, what's in it for you? Right. And that capacity to connect human to human, away from the business to business, was my secret sauce in having over $500 million in revenue impact.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another knowledge bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, I'm Luis Baez.
And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself.
Please help me welcome Luis to Stop Selling and Start Connecting. This is Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
Oh, my name is Luis, he, him, his. I was born on the beautiful island of Puerto Rico, raised in the concrete jungle in the Bronx, New York, just a few minutes away from Yankee Stadium. I'm someone who grew up in poverty, made my way out, had this amazing career in tech, made my way to Silicon Valley, stepped into entrepreneurship, stepped into global leadership at a startup. And what I bring to the table is perspective on what it takes to succeed and thrive on your terms, and also really, the wins that you get when you bet on yourself. For me, I would say that there are different instances throughout my journey where I had to pivot and I had to shed skin or let go of certain beliefs. It wasn't something that happened all of a sudden or all at once. I think the most important thing for me is that even though I did it in silence, I was a dreamer. I kept a journal even at a young age, and you now have some of those journals, and I read back on some of those pages. I'm like, wow. And I read an entry where I talked about visiting Japan someday. And don't you know that Japan was the first country I visited when I first got my passport at the age of 19, right? Something that you don't realize is like really cemented in your subconscious, and it drives the decisions that you make and the things that you pursue, right? And that's an exercise that I still practice to this day. I journal, and it's been one of my most strongest sort of tools in my toolbox. I would also say that the thing that held me back from seeing success sooner or moving faster or getting to the things that I wanted was not asking for help. Right. I think that we live in this really self-deterministic society that tells you it's all on you, no one's coming for you, etc. And then you lean into your family and no one's there to help. And then that completely defeats you. You probably don't have great examples at school, or, maybe there are few resources, right? The thing is, we also live now in an age where, whether it's your public library or a friend, you have some way of getting online. Right. And now the resources, the community, the tribes, the societies, they're all virtual. Right. And so you have ways of connecting with people. If you can't find them in your immediate environment, those people are going to be with you on the journey. Their affirmations, mentorship, and everything are just as valid. And you'd be surprised, the generosity and the loving that can come through from people that you connect with who just have shared interests with you. I think that, what I've learned in my life is that there's strength in numbers. There's enough resource. That's the thing that we have to really let go of is scarcity mindset. Oh my God, I got to claw my way for my piece of the pie before the pie runs out. There are a lot of pies. There's pie upon pie upon pie, right? You get your slice when you pay your dues to the process. You don't have to claw, right? And that, I think, is one of those mindset shifts coming out of poverty that I had to let go of. And I was mentioning this and hinting on this, I started leaning on other people and asking for help and being a little bit more vulnerable, right? There is a lot of pie for everybody. And so what I would say is rather than being jealous of someone's success, congratulate them, celebrate them. Right. Think about the energy you want to receive when you make your ascension and you get there. You don't want people trolling you and hating on you. You want people uplifting you as well. So set the bar energetically, right? And think about, and this is one of my sales secret sauce things. what I've learned about like human psychology, buyer psychology, just dealing with people in general, is that for the most part, I would say maybe like 80 to 90% of the time, because there's always an exception, right?
Yeah.
People really like talking about themselves.
Yeah.
And so, if you approach someone and flatter them, congratulate them, like, hey, I'm so excited to see, you and your story and your journey and where you've come up. And, I just want to give you your flowers real quick. Like, I really admire you. You've inspired me. Wondering, I know you're super busy, but if you have any advice, I'd love to understand how you got to this or how you think
Mm.
about that.
Yeah.
That is a very different approach than like, hi, I'd like you to be my mentor, or hi, I'd like 30 minutes of your time for some coffee and pick your brain. Nah, I don't got time for you to pick my brain. People pay to pick this brain. Okay, this brain
Yeah.
has been conditioned, right?
Yeah.
But you want some advice, right? You want to like make me feel good about myself, give me a little hit of dopamine, right? Cool. I'm going to lean into that. That is just human nature. Use that to your advantage. So when you're thinking about like, how do I use LinkedIn? How do I network? How do I show up? What should I say? Compliment, give flowers, ask
Yeah.
for advice.
Yeah. That's a knowledge bomb.
We all as humans want to be seen, heard, and understood.
Yeah.
And when we think about people at the top or showing up or on the microphone, they're all grappling with imposter syndrome.
Yes, sir.
And so when you lean in and you start to affirm and validate their strengths and their contributions, it's a moment of shine.
Yeah.
Right. And so psychologically, yeah, they're going to lean into like, oh, a hit of dopamine. This person like wants to know me for me. They're not
Yeah.
trying to sell me on anything. They ask me for advice, not a job.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, let's network. Let's have this conversation. I don't feel threatened.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to talk about a great program you have on, I seen on LinkedIn. It's about a personalized sales,
Yes.
how real connection can produce powerful results. I want you to start off here. What inspired you to begin this journey and why?
Gosh, I during all the swirl of career transitions and pandemic and all the things,
Mhm.
had a lot of time to really reflect on why have I had the success that I've had.
Mm.
Right. That's a question that I got often. I've at this point spoken on over 50 podcasts. And at this point, like I've really nailed this down. Like, what was my secret sauce?
Wow.
My authenticity. Authenticity is currency this day and age, especially in the age of AI and all the things, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But that is what helps people in business settings let their guard down with me,
Yeah.
because I don't show up with that business jargon and that rhetoric, and I'm not buttoned up and I'm not uptight, right? I came up through tech, Silicon Valley, so the way I show up is entirely unorthodox, and
Yeah.
people love that. Right. They
Yeah.
love that opportunity to like interact with a human being, let their hair down, and the way that I engage with clients and customers, it's like, I'm not selling you a product. I'm trying to help you shine. So tell me, if we get this right, do you get a promotion? What's in this for you? Because we could
Yeah.
talk numbers all day. We'll get the contract right. I have a whole team behind me.
Yeah.
But you, marketing director, CMO, CTO, what's in it for you? Right.
Yeah.
And that capacity to connect human to human away from the business to business was my secret sauce, and having over $500 million in revenue impact as an individual contributor and sales leader.
Mm.
And so I package that secret sauce thinking about the technologies that have emerged, right? We now are in this age where there are all these bots and all these automations and all the emails being fired off and all the text messages fired off. And,
Yeah.
we all know everybody's leaning into ChatGPT and all the things. So when someone drops a message, whether it's a voice message or a video message, hi, my name is so and so, I'm a human being. I heard you on the, Lead to Greatness podcast. I wanted to just understand like your perspective on X, Y, or Z. Like that cuts through all the noise, that
Yeah.
cuts through all the algorithms, that humanness, that
Yeah.
personalization starts to allow people to let their guard down and start to exchange trust with you.
Yeah.
And trust is a much more fluid currency than it used to be,
Mm.
which sounds counterintuitive in the age of AI, but it is. People are more willing to give it if they can cut through a chat bot, cut through an automation, and connect with a human being,
Yeah.
right? And you can do this as a small solopreneur. You could do this as a Fortune 500 business, right? Leveraging these kinds of tools to connect with customers so that they're seen, heard, and understood. And so I package all that secret sauce. I give you the scripts, what to say, when to say, and all of that in that program. And it's available on LinkedIn Learning, right? I just go be human, go
Yeah.
connect with people, and go reap the benefits of showing up that way. And the thing is, like, you look at consider sales. I've worked in tech sales, I've worked in enterprise sales, I've closed multi-million-dollar deals. I am not a shark. That is not the requirement to be successful in this profession
Mm.
or in
Yeah.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Let go of selling,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Be someone who's just resourceful, be a connector, a conduit, a trusted source, a buddy, a homie, whatever is anything but a salesperson. Because
Yeah.
here's the thing, we're in an age where it's like sell, sell, sell. We smell a pitch coming. We always talk about, like, these underhanded pitch slaps, right? Whether it's like in the inboxes, in the LinkedIn post, there's always going to be a link
Yeah.
nested all the way at the bottom for the free thing that leads to the upsell or whatever.
Yeah.
We've all been there. We know what's up.
Yeah.
And so thinking about how do you interrupt that expectation? Well, don't sell.
Mm.
Have a conversation,
Yeah.
right? If you see someone post a question or share an experience, enhance, add to the conversation, right?
Yeah.
If you see that someone's thriving in an area, go send them their flowers, right? Like, think about just being someone who is a magnet for opportunity by just being like a business love bug.
Yeah.
First of all, if you're copying and pasting something out of any chat bot straightforward, nah, you're like, that's not gonna fly. That's gonna be
Yeah.
entire. That's not gonna go under anyone's radar. So you
Yeah.
want to take a moment and, yeah, leverage the tool. We all are doing the same thing in the background, right?
Yeah.
But make sure it's your voice, and make
Yeah.
sure that it doesn't sound robotic, and make sure that you also pepper it with your personality. Like,
Yeah.
don't just let, again, bring the human, infuse the human in the language,
Yeah.
and then interrupt people's expectations. Like, how many times have we signed up for a product or a service or a newsletter or something, right? And then there's like this immediate barrage of like message, 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 message. It's scheduled every 24 hours. It drops in your inbox every day. There's more, more, more. Buy, buy, buy. Right?
Yeah.
What if you interrupt that and it's like, hey, let me embed a video and invite you to a conversation,
Mm.
right? Like, hey, you're going to get some emails over the next couple of days. I got tips, resources, all the things for you. But if you just want to talk it out, hit the button on the screen. Leave me a message. I will answer it. I'm an actual human, no bots, no AI, no nothing. Let me know what's going down,
Yeah.
right? That's one way that you can insert an opportunity to drive a conversation with somebody, right?
Okay.
Cut out some of the automation as well. I think beyond that, it's think about, I think about so many solo practitioners or small agencies, right? Like, they let their folks go into these automated funnels.
Mm.
They never touch these leads. They never call on them. They never email them. They never thank them for joining the newsletter or for their inquiry or whatever it might be, right? Like,
Yeah.
there needs to be a muscle within the business where there's some sort of commitment to that connection.
Yeah.
So many people want to leverage like automation and social media,
Mm.
right? Like, let's emphasize the social in social media. If you're
Mm.
not talking to people, like, if all you're doing is posting content, all you're doing is like talking to people in an echo chamber, they're not listening to you,
Yeah.
right? So go out, hit up other people, compliment their content, give them their flowers, give them a reason to check out what you got, and to reciprocate that energy.
Appreciate that. You mentioned video. Let's talk a little bit about that. Why videos? What's the significance and importance in that?
Yeah, think about the role of video in your personal life, right? The people that you trust the most, like the most, kick it with the hardest, they are the ones that have that privilege of reaching out to you over FaceTime,
Mm.
right? There's an emotional, psychological connection, a trustworthiness that comes with seeing someone's face
Mm.
when communicating,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Or hearing someone's voice, right? Because I want to also honor that there's power in audio. And I want to also respect that not everyone wants to be on camera, right? I'm going to give you the permission to show up the way that you feel comfortable and authentic,
Yeah.
but lean into the opportunity, right? I think that's the most important thing. is that when you soliciting advice, offering value, offering a coupon, offering any free knowledge or anything like that, if someone has raised their hand and they're showing interest, they're engaging with a post, they're signing up for your email list, they're responding to things, right? Lean into the opportunity to say, hey, I just want to connect with you and invite you to a conversation. Right? We
Mm.
can go back and forth on the email. I want to respect your time because I know that sometimes email is the fastest thing. But I know this day and age when everybody gets delegated to a chat bot, it's hard to just like reach out to a human and ask a question.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you found one. Like I'm not here to play whack-a-mole with you. So don't be shy to hit reply.
Yeah.
Right? When you show up with that kind of energy, right, it's much more powerful because they're not reading and crunching numbers or crunching language, like the psychological load of just listening to your message versus reading your text. It's a lot lighter, but also it's powerful because
Yeah.
then they visualize and feel your energy. And it's like, oof, this is a human being, right? This is
Yeah.
not a robot, right?
No.
Like that has a much more powerful impact. So
Eh,
let's say you sign up for one of my programs, right?
okay.
And what's going to happen is at some point during your consideration process,
Mm.
right, you're going to have an opportunity to chat it up with me,
Mm.
right? I'm going to give you that opportunity. Most people would like want to do a quick consultation or a quick ask or pop in or office hours or whatever. I've got a 24-hour, video that you can drop your inquiries in and I'm gonna get back to you.
Wow.
Right. So you have a moment to talk to a human when
Mm.
you're making your purchase consideration. You're not just like relegated to a link and an FAQ. I'm
Amazing.
there.
Yeah.
Right. Talk to me, feel my energy, decide if I'm your person to
Yeah.
invest with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then what happens is you enter your information, you get access to the program, and as soon as you log in, you're going to see a pop up. There's another video there.
Mm.
Hello, I'm still with you.
Yeah.
I haven't left you hanging. So what's going to happen is you're going to click here next. You're going to do that next, and when you've exhausted those resources, click here and talk it out with me. Right. And so I have on the back end, not only am I on the front end helping you to make your purchase consideration, I'm validating your purchase and I'm
Mm.
not leaving you hanging throughout your entire journey with me throughout, right? It's not just about me getting you to buy, it's about my success strategy for you and making sure that you experience the kind of coaching that you need throughout your journey.
Yeah. 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 How did you get here? I mean, because what you're talking about, I mean, this is something that most individuals don't think about. I mean, what was that pivoting moment in your career where you realized the power of personalized sales?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Actually, when I went off on my own, so I was working in corporate for so many years, and I had a side hustle in coaching and consulting.
Mhm.
I needed to take a break from corporate, so I cranked up the heat in my side hustle and made it my full time.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was like, yeah, I had all these companies I worked for, all these, things that I'd accomplished, all these business schools I'd spoken on. It's all these things that I could name.
Yeah.
But when you're selling yourself and your own brand and you're getting started, it doesn't hit the same, right? It's one thing to
Mm.
say I worked at Google, and it's another thing to say like I am working at Google and selling Google products, right? That's
Yeah.
something you recognize. I don't have to, there's not a lot of mental load. You
Yeah.
know about this company and you know what we're about, right? Very different when I'm like, hi, my name is Luis.
Mm.
And I've worked at these places and I know a couple of things, been around the block. I see what you're doing. I can help you in X, Y, and Z kind of way. Like, would love to have a conversation with you.
Mm.
And I had to get really creative because all the strategies that I'd learned for all those years, I'm starting to realize were, also influenced by where I was working. And so I had to sell myself at a higher
Yeah.
degree and at a new level. And
Yeah.
again, after reflecting on like, what is that secret sauce? Like, why do people invest with me at the end of the day versus someone else that could be selling the same thing? It's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It's me. It's the energy that I bring to the relationships. It's the way that I show up and it's the way that I guide people through difficult decisions.
Mm.
And so I had to rethink what that journey was with me, right? So you land on my website, boom, video, face, I'm there, right? I'm hello, welcome, right? If you're looking for this, looking for that, click here, click there. I'm already guiding you step.
Yeah.
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 You hit my contact page, it's not a form, it's another video. Come
Yeah.
talk to me. Let's have a conversation. Hit that record button or hit that note button if you want to write to me. You don't want to record. Show up however you want. I got you, right?
Amazing. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all roads point to an interaction with me, right?
Yeah.
You are. I'm not going to relegate you to an automation. I'm gonna show face, and I'm gonna give you that confidence to know that engaging with me is safe,
Yeah.
and that also someone's going to get back to you, right? You're not just going into an inbox and driven to an automation.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, Luis, this is good.
No.
What advice would you give to sales teams that's looking to shift from the traditional sales tactics and more of the personal relationships?
Yeah, I think that we want to think about the opportunity to sell at scale now, right? I think that back in the day, let's talk about the progression of the profession of sales, right?
Mm.
We would go door to door. Right? We're selling, vacuums, Tupperware, whatever it is. It was a door to door experience,
Yeah.
or it was a retail experience. You have to come to us, right? Come to the dealership, come to the Woolworth or whatever. Come get your electronics or your
Yeah.
appliances, right? And the profession has evolved. So fast forward now, I can from the palm of my hand, right? We don't even have to talk about like a home office. I could be sitting in a park and running an entire multi-million dollar business from my smartphone,
Mm.
right? Think about that.
Yeah.
I don't have to move. I don't got to put on a suit and tie. I don't got to show up at your door and tap dance,
Yeah.
right? I don't got to be on my feet all day, walking up
Right.
and down the aisles.
Yeah.
The profession has changed. And
Yeah.
so lean into the opportunity to be a magnet, right? Rather than, yes, I want you to balance strategies of reaching out to people one on one, personalizing your messages, thinking very strategically about your roster of prospects, hit them up on LinkedIn or whatever other channel you pursue them in, right? In addition to that, think about maybe running a webinar once a week,
Mm.
right? Think about the opportunity to launch your own podcast, right? Think about the opportunity to post blog style content on your LinkedIn profile, right?
Mm.
Think about that opportunity to flex authority, be a resource, coach, consult, teach, right? Show up in that vein of I'm not selling, I'm here to give, I'm a business love bug,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to give it all away, of course, right? But you want to be generous enough that people go, "Whoa, okay, like I'm a rock with you." So what else is going on? Oh, I'm going to jump in this webinar because if this post was this juicy, then I definitely want to hear what it is that you have to say behind the curtain, right?
Yeah.
And then that's your opportunity once a week, rather than knocking on 10 doors,
Mm.
right? You have 10 people show up. And I want to address this because I think a lot of people get discouraged from like, well, that sounds cute, but like, if I don't get 100 people on this webinar, is it really worth my time? Let me tell you something. If I pulled up with 100 people in a bus at your door, you wouldn't know what to do with them. You wouldn't have the energy to shake hands with all these people. You wouldn't be able to give them the kind of
Oh,
attention that they
man.
deserve to generate the kind of sales you're looking for.
Yes, you're
So
right.
why are you worried about whether your webinar count is 100 or not? You need to focus on those 7 to 10 people that do show up. Give them undivided attention. Be that business love bug and get yourself 7 to 10 sales on the spot. Period.
My goodness.
Like you're focusing on the wrong things and showing up in the wrong ways, right?
Ah,
But think about that. Think about like the opportunity now from the palm of your hand to gather 10 people at once.
jeez. Yeah.
Do your virtual tap dance and get your sales. And listen, I what I've described to you, I've seen examples of this across all industries. I've seen solopreneurs running webinars to sell their services and products and programs.
Mm.
I've seen Fortune 500 companies, right? Their marketing teams are running webinars and bringing in guest speakers as a way of like flexing their authority in an industry, right?
Yeah.
I've seen car dealerships showcase vehicles, right? I've seen fitness
Yeah.
instructors teach a class. I've seen life coaches life coach on the spot, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so many ways. to think about, how it is that you can attract this sort of like one to many. And here's the thing, you're going to fail the first time.
Mm.
It's going to go wrong. It's going to be messy. It's going to be sloppy. You're not going to feel the best about it at the end. But you have to allow yourself is the opportunity and the grace to learn.
Mm.
Make the mistake just that one time and never again. Look stupid that one day and never again. Be
Yeah.
anxious that one afternoon and never again. Get it over with.
Yeah. I love it that you mentioned fail and learn at the same time because I
Yeah.
think we often still miss that opportunity. And I'll be honest with you, even
Yeah.
going back to what we said in the beginning about that poverty mindset. I mean, that's one of those things. It's like scared to do something because I'm scared I'm going to fail and not realizing, no, I'm learning, I'm learning, I'm learning. This is definitely good. What are some practical sales growth tips for a sales individual, growth tips, tools, advice that you can share with the Lead to Greatness community to help us reach our greatest potential?
Gosh. Look, we could rattle off like 10 sales books and like buyer psychology articles and all these things. I get my inspiration from reading memoirs.
Mm.
I know that sounds counterintuitive, whether it's a business leader or an actor or just someone that is doing work that I admire and respect,
Yeah.
right? Hearing their stories, hearing how they grapple with imposter syndrome, hearing how they, sold themselves to an investor, to a panel of interviewers, or how, whatever, right? Like just hearing real humans sharing real stories about their triumphs. That for me is far more powerful than like, hi, I'm the expert in blah, 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 and I have a 10-step framework for doing blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Cool. Keep your framework. Tell me a
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
right? Be human with me because I get the Harvard Business Review talk everywhere else,
Right.
right? So I have found that, and I've gotten inspiration from, again, business luminaries and all these people getting up and like doing their audio books and all that. I'm a like big audio. I love memoirs, like the books are great, but I love audio books that are read by their authors. And so like hearing the person recount their memoirs is so
Yeah.
powerful to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where I just do my best sort of like learning and engagement. Those people become like my mentor, like they're
Yeah.
walking with me, they're driving with me, right?
Yeah.
I love that experience. And so yeah, the business books, the psychology books, the Harvard Business Review articles, yum yum yum, eat that all up, but don't overlook that opportunity to have like a mentor in your pocket through things like audiobooks and memoirs.
Yeah. Speaking of audiobooks, in the last 2 years that has been very impactful and transformational in your life.
Wow. I'm trying to think. There's on the sales front, there's the Jolt effect. I'm blanking on the author's name, no disrespect. And then of course all the flowers to Viola Davis, her memoirs. I mean, like I cried.
OMG. Yes, yes.
I
That was
that was such a gift.
that was amazing. Yeah, one of my favorites recently
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, when she recounted her Juilliard interview, it was
Oh,
fire. It was
yes.
fire. I'm like, that is how you
Yes.
show up. I was like, wow, I listened to that maybe like 4 or 5 times in the car in just one sit.
Yes. That
Yeah.
is good. If someone wanted to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
I hang out on LinkedIn. Luis Baez, look me up. I try to post content that, I'm trying to be your homie in your corner.
Mm.
I'm trying to empower you and enable you. I'm trying to give you all the permission to show up the way that you want to show up in the
Yeah.
ways that you do business. And
Yeah.
so that's the kind of vibe and energy that you can expect hanging out with me there.
Mhm.
If you are interested in any of my programs, all my freebies, all my free coaching, then I would say check out learnfromluis.com.
Mm.
And I would definitely say start with the free stuff. I really packed all of the pages of my playbooks in there, all the things that I discussed today, all my frameworks for overcoming X, Y, or Z, or managing and
Yeah.
negotiating situational sort of
Yeah.
things. I lay it all bare. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, check that out.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
I appreciate you for having me.
We want to thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.